Number 5, the newly appointed number 5, Adam Cerra. Pom, I'm really excited about this one. I think so far in the series, I haven't got too confident. It's more of a hope with a lot of these guys that we've already spoken about. But this one, for me, kind of seems like the player. I feel like we're getting the player we hoped Sam Petrevski-Seton would become. Do you see it that way?
Oh, 100%. I think the top teams have a trio of midfielders, don't they, that are skillful, that can take a game away from you. Look at Melbourne, they do that really well. Doggies particularly, they've got options, and options wins your football games. And Cerra is the finished article, and he's not even the finished article. There's still levels to go, but last year was his best year. We're actually getting a player that someone's done the development for us, which is nice. And hopefully, if we can just develop a couple bit more tools in him, we could have a real strong trio of midfielders in Cripps, Walsh and Cerra, because these three players we've mentioned there are next level when it comes to playing football.
Yeah, I guess the hope with Cerra is, I mean, you look at his situation at Freo, Brayshaw, in my opinion, was at the top of the food chain, we'll call it there. He was at the top of the list. And then it was, sort of Cerra. Sarong really came home hard in 2021. It's not so different coming to Carlton, because we don't need him to come to Carlton and be the saviour or be the best player. We need him to come to Carlton and be the third best midfielder, essentially. Third or fourth, probably third. I think he can do it. Like you said, the development has, for the most part, been there. He's, obviously still got some more to come. He's coming from a draft where we've got players that were in that draft. Obviously, Dow was in that draft as well. So he finds himself in a nice little nucleus amongst, Sam Walsh and Paddy Dow and the like. And I don't know. When I talk off camera, when I talk to my friends, I say that this guy is going to be what we were hoping to try and get with Dylan Shield. I think Cerra is the class player that can become a real A-grader for us. But what I love about him is he tackles. Like, he actually has a crack, and I love the way he plays.
Oh, mate, spot on. I think the most understated thing that Cerra does, and we don't have it on our list, is his distribution is elite in terms of not just his efficiency, but his ability to spread from contests. And you go back and watch Freo this year, what he's incredible at is he moves sideways with the ball. He gets it away from that trouble into the hands of a wingman as fast as possible, gets it out of that contest, doesn't keep it there. We have a tendency just kicking it straight forward. He looks backwards. He looks sideways. He looks to keep possession, get the ball away from trouble. And what's more important is he follows up that kick. Follows it up to try and be there if that player needs it. Very clever footballer, and it's something that we don't have on the list. We have players that distribute, but we also need them to be there for the ball. Cerra now allows Walsh to free up. He's freed up. Cripps is freed up. We now have that option that one person can do this, but then be the guy being kicked to. Unfortunately, this year, Walsh couldn't get the ball out, kick it up in the air, run, catch it, handball it to himself and kick the goal, which is what we needed. Now we've got it. Cerra is class personified. Whatever that means, is it.
Bro, there was a comment you made, I think, when Cerra came to us, or when he did his first interview with the Carlton media, and it just came to me. You spoke about, and I think you were spot on, but you spoke about, Adam Cerra being someone that impressed you because he knew what he wanted. He knew what was important to him. Coming home, it was a family thing. Coming to Carlton, this is a family club. This is what we are. But more importantly, it's the maturity that he already displays, and to have it at such a young age, he knows what he wants to experience in his life. He knows what's important. And I think it's going to help him, because obviously you come to Carlton, it's a shit show. There's a lot going on. There's criticism. There's a lot of pressure. There's the pain of the supporters. There's the mainstream media always looking to us for a headline. There's a lot going on, but it just strikes me as someone who's got his off-field figured out. And so he knows when to escape footy and how to escape it. And like I said, he's got his priorities straight. So I think he's going to be a great influence as a human being on the group, just another addition to the many great human beings that I think we have. And then hopefully within that, having more good people in the group, less division, less splinters, as they call it. I'm hoping, and I'm pretty confident with this one, that we're going to be very happy with him.
Mate, I'm with you. I don't buy into the C word culture. It's something, I'm strongly against. I think we make it mythical. But one thing I'll say is I think a collective mind is important. And whether that's culture or not, who knows? But I'd say you hear Cerra speak, then you hear Motlop speak, then you hear Domaku speak, and then you hear Wheaterin speak and Walsh. We're starting to get a lot more young men in the club whose heads are screwed on. And they are all about improvement, self-awareness. And the more that is in the dressing room, as opposed to you guys who want to put jelly in boots and play pranks, makes a successful team, because these guys are going to suddenly outnumber maybe the guys who plod a bit, and they're going to be demanding. And when there's more of them, it's easy for them to demand more. When Adam Cerra is in the dressing room and saying, look, I need you to start coming to training early, and suddenly he's backed up by 4 or 5 guys as opposed to him being the odd one out. And that's what excites me about Cerra. He seems to know where his life is going and where he fits in it. And a lot of question marks this year about his kicking. Interesting to note, he's kicked more with his left foot this year than he has ever, which says to me he's trying to work on that, because his left side is only there purely to even him up. He's left foot inept. But it is a good sign for me that he's tried to do that, because that's where a good player is. He uses both feet. So still in the high for career, still in the very good category. But that's an interesting thing that I think people don't talk about. He's starting to use that left side. The best players in the league kick with both feet. Shows bravery, that, and it shows that he's working on it. Once he nails that, because his kicking is very elite with his right, it's nearly 85% on that one peg. Sky's the limit, because you want kickers at the club. This kid can kick.
Yeah, and he can find the footy. I mean, when I look at 2022 and what does a successful season look like, and I'm not so drawn into the stats, but it just as a base level of a target for me, when I think about what he's capable of and what would be a successful year. I mean, for me, he's a guy that can get the ball 22 to 24 times a game, roughly, somewhere in between there. I think if he's doing that, playing in the same manner that he did at Freo, just with, maybe 3 or 4% better across statistically across the board, that's kind of it, because it's going to take time for him to adjust and become a real Carlton person. I'm hoping it doesn't take as long as it has seemingly for some others, but I think it will naturally. It's a new club. You need time. You need to build experiences with your new family, so to speak. But I'm hoping he feels comfortable as soon as possible, and then he really starts taking ownership, because I think he's another one who's got leadership capabilities as well. The way he carries himself, even the way he plays.
And, I've drummed this all the time. Captaincy should be 18 leaders. It shouldn't be one guy. Everyone should be captain of their own game. And Cerra is that guy. You can see Cerra doesn't need much guidance in life. His head's screwed on. He knows what he wants, when he wants it, and how to get it. I think the big thing for me with Cerra as well is we needed an Italian, didn't we? We love Italians at Carlton.
We've
got
we
Jesus. He slots in. He's got the Italian name. He looks Carlton as well, doesn't he? Now he's got his shaved lid. He looks like he's been there all the time. And I think it's worth noting, 2017, his draft year, easily the best player in the draft, bar injury. He had a lot of injuries that year, but still went 5. Easily the best player as a footballer in the draft, or even above Cam Rayner. So theoretically, we have got to pick one. And one thing's amazing, he's been durable since.
Yes.
He's avoided injuries.
Touch wood, don't jinx that. He's a Carlton footballer now, so fingers crossed for good health for him. Obviously, I just hope he thrives, and because him thriving means our midfield thriving, and our midfield was definitely and obviously something that needed something added to it. So we brought along him and George Hewitt, who obviously we'll talk about later in the series, but I'm really excited about Adam Cerra. I love the number he wears. I think it suits him. It's all there. It's all set up for him. And, fingers crossed we can get the best out of him. But What about you at home? What do you forecast for Adam Cerra? What does it look like for you? What are you looking for from Adam Cerra in season 2022? Let us know in the comments.